Hi, I'm Victoria, and I spend my time making documentary stuff and social media clips. Today, I want to show you a significantly faster and less painful way to handle a common challenge. That challenge is turning your wide 16.9 footage into vertical 9:16 content that actually performs well. This vertical content needs to be ready for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and everything else. I promise you this entire process is way quicker than you probably think it's going to be. And yes, you can absolutely keep all the beautiful bits and the professional look you already spent time perfecting. So, let me set the scene for you. I spend the majority of my editing time inside Premiere Pro. When I have a finished horizontal edit and need to repurpose it for social platforms, I used to face a huge roadblock. I would often have to do the whole tedious manual keyframe dance just to reframe the composition. This meant physically repositioning, scaling up, and nudging every single shot to ensure faces stayed perfectly in the frame. Premiere's built-in Auto Reframe feature presents itself as the obvious and immediate shortcut to this problem. It is very fast, because it intelligently analyzes the shot and then reframes it automatically for vertical aspect ratios. If you have already exported a sequence that you are happy with, especially after color grading, you can bring that back in. You then run the Scene Edit Detection tool to quickly chop that finished export back into the original cuts it was made from. After that resegmentation, you can hand the entire vertical timeline over to Auto Reframe to process the reframing. I will say this, it is a neat feature that genuinely saves a massive amount of time compared to doing every single keyframe manually from scratch. But here's the big thing you need to understand about this specific tool, and it's important. Auto Reframe is essentially functioning as a really smart, automated crop and track utility under the hood. It performs exceptionally well when your singular problem is purely fitting the existing visual information into a narrower vertical frame. What it absolutely will not do reliably is sift through a 1-hour interview or a lengthy interview-based documentary. It won't automatically pick out the most punchy, performance-driving bits of that long content. More importantly, it will not turn those chosen moments into a handful of short, viral-ready clips by itself. Furthermore, it certainly will not create or manage your social media posting calendar for you. It also won't automatically generate dozens of slightly different versions, perfectly optimized for every single social platform out there. In short, to summarize its function, it reframes what you give it. It does not proactively edit for high performance or virality. It definitely does not function as a complete content engine for your entire social media output. That gap in functionality is precisely where I started looking elsewhere and integrating a different solution into my work. This is why I personally advocate for mixing tools, instead of treating any one piece of software as the single silver bullet. I started using Vizard because it's an AI tool built specifically for transforming long videos into short, high-performing social clips. It focuses its efforts on finding those truly compelling moments and cutting them into clips engineered to go viral. On top of the editing, it even provides assistance to help you manage the actual content publishing schedule. The process begins when you upload your long-form source footage into the Vizard system. Vizard's specialized AI immediately begins scanning the entire duration for engagement spikes. The AI is programmed to specifically look for highlights, like significant talk breaks or pronounced emotional reactions. It also prioritizes finding the funniest or the most genuinely moving lines spoken within the footage. After this analysis runs, it spits out a complete batch of short, professionally formatted, ready-to-post clips. And here is the key part for our specific vertical conversion use case. It can output perfect 9:16 versions right away. This is achieved without you ever needing to manually keyframe the tracking movement on a single one of those clips. Let me now walk you through exactly how I use both of these approaches depending on the unique demands of the project. If I have already finished the entire color grading process and have a very tight final edit, I lean on Auto Reframe. My first step in this specific scenario is to bring that exported timeline file back into Premiere Pro for re-entry. The next step is using Scene Edit Detection to efficiently split the sequence back into its original, separate cuts. I skip that detection step entirely, only if I am lucky enough to still possess the native project files from the initial edit. Once the footage is cut, I then run the powerful Auto Reframe function across the newly structured timeline. I make sure to explicitly choose the 9:16 vertical preset as the target output format. Then, I simply let the software diligently process the entire sequence according to those instructions. After the automated process completes, my next mandatory step is to skim through the effect controls on every single resulting clip. I am checking meticulously in case the AI incorrectly tracked a background element or accidentally cropped out a subject's face. This is the precise moment where I make any necessary micro adjustments to the position or the scale of the tracked subject. Even with this required final check, it still saves me considerably more time than attempting to build the vertical version from absolute zero. But if my main goal shifts toward achieving high volume, say turning a 90-minute conversation into 30 punchy clips, I change my strategy. For volume, I hand the raw, unedited footage directly to Vizard first and foremost. I upload the entire source file, allow the AI analysis to complete its full scan, and then wait for the results. From this, I immediately get a full slate of bite-sized clips that are already heavily focused on the most engaging parts of the recording. It's conceptually similar to having a dedicated assistant who instantly skims for all the best quotes and biggest reactions. From that generated list of suggestions, I can easily select and choose which clips I definitely want to develop further. From there, I have the option to slightly tweak the auto-generated crop or easily add custom high-contrast subtitles if I need to. Then, I export all my selected clips as perfectly formatted 9:16 files with a single click action. Now, let's dive into a few of the key practical differences you will notice when comparing these two systems side by side. Premiere Auto Reframe is demonstrably super reliable for maintaining the original visual continuity of your edits. If your finished sequence has a very specific, intricate grading, custom transitions, and layered motion graphics, Auto Reframe is a safer choice. However, you will invariably need to manually guide it on what to follow sometimes, and you must always make manual fixes afterward. Vizard, in contrast, is explicitly tuned for maximizing content discovery and immediate audience engagement performance. It is specifically looking for those handful of moments where people are actually most likely to stop scrolling and watch the whole thing. This includes identifying strong, clear reaction shots or very memorable, quotable sound bites. Vizard will not preserve your exact timeline cuts by default, because its programming prioritizes short-form viewing optimization. Regarding the actual publishing logistics, Premiere Pro offers absolutely no functionality in this area. Vizard, however, includes fully built-in scheduling features right alongside a comprehensive content calendar interface. So, once you have finalized your batch of clips, you can set the desired posting frequency right there in the tool. It will then automatically schedule everything, meaning you do not have to babysit the publishing process constantly. That automation feature alone is a huge, massive time saver if your goal is to keep all your various channels actively posting. Now, I certainly do not want to imply that Vizard is somehow a flawless tool or that you should abandon Premiere in your professional workflow. It's much more accurate to view them as complementary tools that serve different stages of production. Premiere handles the technical aspects of finishing and achieving that ultimate pixel-perfect framing quality. Vizard is the specialist that handles the massive scale of content repurposing and the initial attention-grabbing editing choices. For instance, if I am working on a short documentary that has intricate motion graphics and complex multicam synchronization, I still finish the piece in Premiere. But if I have a very long interview or a recorded corporate live stream, and I need dozens of short promotional snippets, Vizard cuts my workload down exponentially. I've picked up several practical tips while actively juggling both these fantastic tools over the past several months. Tip number 1 is fundamental. Always export your starting master file at the highest resolution possible, ideally 4K. If you know you are going to be cropping deeply into a 9:16 frame, starting high resolution prevents noticeable detail loss upon scaling. Tip number 2 concerns scene edit detection specifically. You should reserve its use only for those unfortunate times when you have lost the original project files entirely. It is a truly incredible recovery feature when you only have a flattened, finished export file to start with. Be aware, though, that it can sometimes miss very subtle micro-transitions or sequences nested deep inside other master clips. Tip number 3 in my collection is never be afraid to manually override what the AI suggests on either platform. Both Premiere and Vizard do an excellent initial automated pass to get you 80% of the way there, which is great. But you absolutely must preview every single resulting clip before you commit it to going live on your channels. Small, precise human adjustments to the subject's position or the timing of a cut often create the difference between okay and wow. Tip number 4 encourages experimentation with different final clip lengths for your target platform. Vizard often suggests clips in the 15 to 30 second range, which are perfect sweet spots for standard Reels and TikTok videos. However, sometimes a slightly longer 45 to 60 second clip will perform significantly better depending on the story arc you present. I also want to briefly call out a couple of other popular tools that people frequently ask me about for context. CapCut is undeniably great for making quick, on-the-fly edits directly on your mobile phone while you are out and about. It also gives you immediate access to lots of the currently trendy transitions and fun visual effects popular on social media. But at its core, CapCut functions mostly as a manual editor inside a convenient app interface. It is awesome for editing a single clip, but becomes extremely time-consuming when you need to process hundreds of clips at scale. Descript is another phenomenal tool, especially amazing for any project heavily focused on transcript-based editing and audio cleanup. Descript can certainly help you generate initial rough cuts based on simple text selections from the script document. Yet, it is not primarily designed or optimized for heavy multi-clip scheduling or batching hundreds of short-form pieces automatically in one go. Adobe's entire creative ecosystem is incredibly powerful and comprehensive as a complete suite of tools. However, that power and integration certainly come with a noticeable recurring price tag and a definite learning curve for new users. Auto Reframe is a fantastic feature within that suite, but it still represents only one piece of that much larger, often slower professional pipeline. Compared to all those other options, Vizard carves out a very specific sweet spot for modern creators who demand both efficiency and social optimization. It is the solution that actively finds those attention-grabbing moments and helps you publish them with true consistency. Now, to make this tangible, let me give you a quick step-by-step walkthrough of my precise Vizard workflow. The first step is straightforward. You simply upload your entire long video file into the Vizard environment. Then, you choose a predefined style or select a specific platform preset, where I often default to the TikTok Instagram vertical option. After that selection, you initiate the process and let the AI analyze all the footage to produce its initial batch of suggested clips. Once the analysis is complete, you skim through the generated clips and explicitly mark the ones you definitely want to keep as your favorites. You always have the optional ability to quickly tweak the automatic crop or manually add custom high-contrast subtitles if necessary. From there, you schedule the selected clips directly within the integrated content calendar feature of the app. You can tell the system precisely how often you want new content to go out, like daily or every other day, based on your strategy. The tool will then automatically schedule everything, meaning you do not have to babysit the publishing process constantly. This level of automation allows me to upload content on one afternoon and have nearly 2 weeks of posts ready to drop automatically. Before we wrap up, I need to stress one final crucial piece of advice to all of you watching. Do not let any piece of software, AI or otherwise, become a crutch that excuses weak fundamental storytelling techniques. The AI is brilliant at surfacing moments that could potentially perform well based on data. But ultimately, you, the human creator, still select the final context and craft the perfect opening hook for every single piece. A truly great, high-performing short clip is always a masterful combination of an arresting moment and extremely clean presentation. This presentation must include clear, well-timed captions that are easy to read quickly. It also demands a snappy, compelling opening sentence or visual that immediately captures the viewer's interest. And crucially, you need a thumbnail image that is strong enough visually to physically stop a user scrolling their feed. Please use tools like Auto Reframe or Vizard aggressively to save yourself many, many hours of mindless manual grunt work. However, you should intentionally spend a portion of that saved time focusing intently on those final, critical presentation touches. If you are eager to try this powerful system out for yourself right now, I have left a link to Vizard down in the description below. I strongly encourage you to give it a genuine spin on a long interview or a recent recording you already have available. Go ahead and compare running your typical workflow through Premiere's Auto Reframe versus using Vizard's auto-editing capabilities. You will very quickly see the stark difference in the amount of manual labor each method requires from you. You will also observe a difference in the sheer volume of usable clips you can generate from a single editing session. For my specific professional workflow, mixing both tools has proven to be the absolute perfect sweet spot for efficiency and quality. Premiere is reserved for handling the technical finishing and achieving that ultimate pixel-perfect framing precision. Vizard is utilized for managing the massive scale of content creation and the initial virality optimization. All right, that concludes my detailed breakdown of this dual tool strategy for vertical content. If you are currently trying to get much more content out of your long videos without pulling constant late nights keyframing, you absolutely need to give this combo a try. Think about the time you save using these tools. That is time you can reinvest into actually creating more high-quality content elsewhere. Click the link in the description right now to explore Vizard and see what kind of great clips it pulls from one of your own longer videos. If you feel inclined, drop a comment below telling me the specific type of clips you need most often. I will make sure to share the exact settings that worked best for my own needs in response to your question. Thank you for watching this guide, and I truly look forward to seeing you again in the next video.